What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips that can help you succeed as a real estate investor. Now, over the course of my 15 years of investing in real estate, these are the things I think have helped me grow the most. They've allowed me to make this as passive as possible so I could free up my time and find other deals and add to my portfolio. The name of the game is financial freedom. So we want to be able to invest in real estate
but not be bogged down
by answering calls, taking care of the property, the contractors that you have to deal with. We want to be as passive as possible so we can get to financial freedom as fast as possible. And I'm going to share some tips with you today that'll help you do exactly that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first and most important thing when investing in real estate is buying right. You make your money on the front end of a deal. That means that you have to pay the right price for that property. You want to get it at a discount. You don't want to be paying retail prices. So in order for us to be successful as real estate investors, we have to negotiate the right price on the property. You also don't want to underestimate any expenses or renovations that need to be done to that property. You don't want to buy the property for the right price and it needs some sort of renovation, but you underestimate those repairs. And then you come in, do those repairs, find out you're going to be over your budget, and it ends up not getting you the kind of return that you want. So the first and most important thing is buying right. Next up is overextending yourself. So let's say you have a full-time job and you're considering investing in real estate. Well, you need to account for how much time it's going to take you on a daily basis, a week-to-week basis, a month-to-month basis to actually manage that property properly. And how are you going to be answering the tenant phone calls or the contractor phone calls? How are you going to be scheduling contractors if you have a full-time job? So if you are overextending yourself, you could very easily become dissatisfied with the whole experience being a real estate investor. We want this to be as passive as possible in order for us to get as much satisfaction from having the property and just collecting a check every single month. If you can't take care of that property and you need to get property management to take care of it, then you need to account for those expenses properly before you close on the deal. You don't want to buy a property, not have that allocation for the property management in your expenses, and come to find out you don't like managing the property, so you need to hire a manager, but then that eats into your cash flow every single month. We need to account for these things and think about these things so we're not dissatisfied with the whole experience, and we have free time, enough free time that we can go continue to add properties to our portfolio that allows us to get to financial freedom quicker. So next up on the list is having quality rentals. We want to have a good quality rental that attracts good tenants that will take care of that property during their lease. We don't want to be fielding calls every night about something being broken. We don't want to have to be bogged down by having to call contractors. We don't want issues that are constantly going to be eating into our cash flow every month and ruining our experience as a real estate investor. So before you ever lease that property out, you want to make sure that you take care of all those items and do things that will make it as bulletproof as possible. You know, putting in Delta faucets, quality fixtures, putting in LVP flooring that is not likely to be torn up, and, you know, doing the necessary things that are going to attract a good tenant, but also free up your time and not constantly having things break on that property. Remember, the name of the game is cash flow. So we want to lease the property out and not have things breaking all the time. We want to make sure that we are providing a good quality rental to the tenants that's not going to constantly be eating into our cash flow. And this will actually allow us to have free time to look at other deals and add to our portfolio, which again is going to allow us to get to financial freedom much, much quicker. So next on the list, and this ties directly into what I was previously talking about, is screening your tenants correctly. Now, if you notice, these are kind of in sequential order. And if you do these things in sequential order, you're likely to be very, very successful as a real estate investor. So screening your tenants properly, that's going to come after you make all the necessary repairs to that property, right? If you screen those tenants correctly, you're going to have a very easy time with your rental properties. You want to make sure that you get good quality tenants in there that allow you to have the free time. So you have the time to look at other deals so you can get to financial freedom quicker. I talk to a lot of landlords, older landlords, that are constantly bogged down, and they are just over the whole process of having rental property. They always say to me, why would I fix it up if the tenant's just going to destroy it? Well, if you have a good quality property that you take care of and you fix all the necessary things that need to be fixed on that property, you're going to attract a good tenant. And once you attract that good tenant, if you can screen that tenant properly, they will take care of your property and they won't destroy it. So a lot of landlords get themselves into this vicious cycle where it's just not fixing the necessary things in between leases, renting to people. The things are broke. They're getting calls about the things that are broke. They're getting completely dissatisfied with the whole process and they're just over it. And then that leads them to want to sell to me, hopefully, or you. But that's not how we want our experience as a real estate investor to be. We want to have as much freedom as possible and make this as passive as possible. You know, one of the tricks that I hear a lot of other investors, older investors, say to me is whenever you are doing an application and you're meeting with that tenant, go check out their car. You know, go walk them out to their car and take a look at their car and see how dirty their car is, and you'll get a good idea of how likely they are to take care of your rental. I don't know how true that is, but it's definitely something that I've heard a lot of. But you have to make sure that you screen them correctly, and that means checking for criminal backgrounds. You got to make sure that you call their previous landlord and get a good referral. You got to make sure that you're doing a good income verification. If you do all this legwork up front, it's likely to be much easier for you through the duration of their lease. And they're less likely to destroy your property. So lastly, as kind of a bonus, I just thought about this as I was doing the video, and that is making sure that you are accounting for your expenses properly. When I first started investing in real estate, I was not aware that your taxes would change when you purchased a property. So I would analyze a deal and I would look at the current taxes and I would pencil that in as my expense, not knowing that there was a calculation that you could do in order to figure out what your taxes are going to be with the new purchase price on that property. You want to make sure that you're aware of those expense items that are going to increase with the new ownership. That could be insurance, it could be taxes, it could be a lot of different things. So those are just a few things that I think can help you be successful as a real estate investor if you're just starting out or you've got a couple doors. I know they've helped me in my real estate journey. I have 60 plus units and I maybe work 5 hours a week on my portfolio. I hate the idea of hiring out property management because I work on my portfolio so little, and I love that cash flow. So as always, if you like the video, please hit the notifications button and subscribe. And until next time.